Heyo, welcome back to Thoughts and Opinions Are Our Own. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Kirk.
Oh, Kirk.
Yes, Jordan.
Well, this is actually a special pod.
Yes, it is.
Because, drumroll, we are not in Michigan.
We are not in Michigan. Jordan, where are we?
We are in the DMV.
DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles. No.
It stands for District of Columbia, so D.C.
Washington, D.C. Yes.
Maryland, and Virginia.
So we're correct. We're in
the
that
region area
of Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. Correct. And we have moved out here. We did that moving part one. I think that was the previous pod.
I moved out here recently, and then you guys recently moved.
We just, that's right. Your mom and I, we decided a few months after that you had left, we were enjoying ourselves a couple months by ourselves with the three cats in Michigan. But we had talked about it, and we decided to also come out here in this part of on the East Coast.
Sweet country roads. We were near the Appalachians. Goodbye, Great Lakes.
So the Great Lakes, goodbye. Yes, we were there.
I actually did miss the water.
Well, Great Lakes, it was good.
Yeah.
We just, where we were living in Michigan, we weren't really.
Our season came to an end.
Yes.
The chapter of our life.
And keeping it real, of course, with our listening audience.
We're 100% honest.
Your mom and I, we had, when we first got married, we actually got married in Texas, Brownsville, Texas.
Could have been a Texan.
So that was in 1993. So it was 30 years ago. And then your mom and I, we moved up near Dallas, Texas. We were there for a while. And then we were pregnant with you. And so when we became pregnant with you, we decided then to move back to Michigan because.
Could have been a South Padre girlie.
Well, maybe I did like South Padre. Shout out to South Padre Island.
In Dallas.
I did. I like Dallas, of course.
Could have been a Southern girl, but instead, I was a Midwest girlie.
Well, because again, because family, we decided with all four of your grandparents, so my parents and then my two in-laws. They were all living in Michigan when we were pregnant with you.
I appreciate that.
So,
but I find it hilarious that as soon as you guys moved back, your parents take off to Florida.
They went to Florida in the wintertime.
Snowboards. And then mom's parents moved further up north.
They actually went to upper northern Michigan. But you know what? Again, as I've said many a time, it's America, and they have a free will.
They sure do.
They would like to go to Florida or up in North Michigan.
And keeping it real, I loved moving, but let's be honest, this probably isn't the one and only move for me. I'm probably going to move again in the future. Now, where? I have no idea. Wherever life takes me.
And I think some people enjoy that. I think some people enjoy the options.
I love my options.
Like when you go to the grocery store and you can pick like Dorito bag, like
the variety pack.
But then there's the variety pack of the
the variety.
You get like 3 Doritos, 3 what is it? Cheetos.
Yep. Lay's.
3 Lay's. Yeah. So I like the variety pack too. And I think because we here in America, we have a lot of land. There's 50 states that you can live in.
There are 50 states.
And I feel like so.
And Puerto Rico.
And Puerto Rico. Shout out to Puerto Rico.
And Guam.
So when we moved when we moved to Michigan back in 1995, we were pregnant with you. So your mom and I, after 28 years living consecutively in Michigan, we decided it was time. So now we are all again over in the DMV area.
Whoop, whoop.
And it was quite the adventure getting the U-Haul truck packed up and ready to go. But I felt like we had it well, somewhat organized where well, you were there, of course. So you flew in, and then your youngest sister, Asin, you both flew in, and
I think Asin's been on this pod before, right?
She has.
Yes.
It's called what was it called? Dog Songs and
that was
something
a good
else.
one.
Yes, and then it was called Keeping Up with Asin.
Yeah, that was fun.
And because she moved out here, that was 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And so she moved out here. So we flew you and Asin first class, by the way.
Thank you.
On Delta Airlines, I believe, also. And so we
shout out to Delta.
Shout out to Delta.
We
are not one of our commercial sponsors, but
let me pick up.
Go ahead.
Where this happened.
Something about you looked out the window and it was Nashville.
So Aslan and I, we first of all worked a full day, and looking back, there were so many things to do.
This was on a Thursday.
This was on a Thursday after work, and part of the really good deal that you guys got was we had to fly from the DC airport to the Atlanta airport.
From Dulles to Atlanta. Yes.
Yep, and then from Atlanta to Detroit.
And then Atlanta to Detroit.
Cool, great, whatever. We got a game plan.
Yes.
First class, that's cool.
First class, both flights.
We get on the plane at 7:40 p.m. and I noticed by like 8 o'clock we're still at the gate, and I'm like, okay, like I'm watching.
Oh, they were waiting for something.
Yeah, I'm still watching my little movie. By like 8:15, I'm like, yo, we've been on this plane for like 30 minutes. The pilot comes on. I guess there was something with the fuel, yada yada. Something wasn't communicating to the tower. They had to manually do it, then electronically do it. And I was like, okay, it's 2023, whatever. But anyway, so by 8:40, we're still there. And
so you're almost on the plane a full hour, sitting, and you have not taken off yet from Dulles.
So we took off. It was like a little after 9, and
Wow.
I was freaking out that we were going to be late for our connecting flight in Atlanta.
In Atlanta.
But while we were at the gate at Dulles, I get a notification that our second flight was delayed, and I was like,
from Atlanta.
Yeah.
So it actually worked out then.
It did work out. We land by like 10:30, and then that Atlanta, man, there's no joke. Like, you gotta hustle. And
there was a rumor that it's the busiest airport in the country and maybe in the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the hub for Delta. So like when you get off, like first of all, it's just like a scavenger hunt to get to the bathroom, and then when you're there, you gotta prep yourself because then it's like you're fully like
you gotta go catch that other flight.
Yeah, so they have like numerous different gates. They have like numerous little like subway metros that you can take, and then those little suckers are jam packed. Like you're up against people.
This is like at midnight.
Yeah. Well, right now it's like 10:45, 11. And we're like, okay, our next flight
is jam packed with people. 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
on a Thursday night.
We hop off, and then there's already like people. We hop off, so the train takes us from like wherever we were, gate 8 or whatever, to gate T, and then we get off. And as soon as we get off, like everyone has to go up the escalator. But because everyone, like other people were having flight issues, like people are running.
They're running to get
They're like
sprint.
Like it's a.
Because they don't want to spend the night. As cool as the Atlanta airport is,
right.
They don't want to spend the night at the Atlanta airport.
And shout out to the mayor, because every 5 minutes he would come on the PA system. He's like, "Welcome to the Atlanta airport. My name is." And
he's very proud of his city and his airport.
And like
he should be, quite
like,
frankly.
So now, like Als and I were running. Then you have the security, and then you have agents. They're like, "All right, folks, here we go. We're running." And like people are running, and it's like old people are running, people my age, kids, and they have like suitcases, like you're running for your life. And then we get to our gate only to realize like we're not boarding at 11:30. They pushed it back to 11:40.
Wow.
And our gate's already like jammed, cramped already. And I think like some of those people probably like they didn't have what we had. I think they were there since like 8 o'clock.
So they've been waiting while you were flying in from Dulles. They were still waiting there in Atlanta.
Yeah, and they also changed the gate too. So I think they were there. Then they had to move over there. So yeah, and then the flight lands wherever the plane was coming from, and people are getting off. And I see the pilot. And he talks to the pilot that's about to like fly off, and he's like, "Oh, hey, like we just got back from," and I didn't catch it. And he was really happy. And then he goes, "So where are you headed?" And our pilot goes, "Detroit." And I was like, "Wait, like he put a smile on that face."
So he wasn't thrilled about midnight flying from Atlanta to Detroit, but he did it.
Yeah, and then. They kept
the good pilot that he is, working for Delta.
Shout out.
He got you there.
And then, and there were just like so many people, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And then they start boarding, and now it's a little after midnight, so we find our seats. Also, first class, thank you, by the way. And then the flight attendant's like, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen," and I'm like, "Morning."
Instead of good evening,
I'm
it's
like,
good morning.
No, it's still nighttime for me. I'm still like, I haven't gone to bed yet, ma'am. And Aslan and I, by then, we're like kind of like slap happy, and we were gonna watch a movie, but then we're like, we should get some sleep. But like, I was also like a little excited too. Like, I could feel my body relaxing, but my brain was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. And Aslan and I, we had a lot of fun with the flight tracker. Man, we were like,
And you did fly over Nashville.
Yes, we did. It was really cool because you would look out to the airplane, and it was cool because you could see like the skyscrapers of Atlanta when we took off. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then it would show you where you were. And at one point, I'm like, where the heck are we? So I look, and it says, like, Tennessee, and it says Nashville to the left. And I look over, I'm like, oh, I think that's Nashville right now.
Nashville, Tennessee.
That was cool. And then Alice and I, we kind of, like, chatted about, like, random stuff.
And what time did you land in Detroit?
It was like 2:30 in the morning.
2:30
and
in the
you
morning.
And Mom were ready. It was like 2:42, and I was like, oh my gosh.
So by the time we got back to the house there, it was almost 3 a.m.
If I was still awake at 5:30, I would have been awake for 24 hours.
So speaking of 3 a.m. then, okay, yeah. So fast forward a couple days.
Man, when you listen to Taylor Swift and she talks about 2 a.m., 3 a.m., I may have Taylor Swift girl boss a little too hard.
We pack up the U-Haul.
Yeah, so that weekend,
I drove the U-Haul, of course. Butterscotch, one of our 3 cats, he rode with me.
Yeah.
You and Aslan were in one of the
cars with Adeline. We'll get to her.
We'll talk about Adeline in a second, because each cat had their little like travel pack.
And they were really cute. They were really spacious. Like Mom really hooked the cats up. Those cats were living their best life. They were traveling.
And
first
then Mom
class.
was traveling in the 3rd car with Hadley, of course. So we were going to try to leave Sunday morning, but it really was Sunday afternoon, about 3. I think it was 3:49 when we pulled out and said goodbye to the house. We had been there for almost 10 years.
Oh man, I thought I was going to cry, but I didn't. I did get a little misty and a lot
of memories.
So like driving through the town, I was like, oh, like this is it. Like,
but I got to tell you, when we crossed into Ohio,
you were a happy little camper.
I was excited. I was excited to cross into Ohio. I waved to the border. Yep, I sure did. So we crossed into Ohio Turnpike, and then we crossed into Pennsylvania Turnpike. And then
I do not like Pennsylvania. I really wish I did. It is so curvy.
Well, the Turnpike, yes. Nothing against the state of Pennsylvania, of course, but the Turnpike, it's...
First of all, they don't have lights on the Turnpike.
It's narrow.
And you're up in the mountains.
And by then it was like 11 o'clock at night. Well, yeah, because we had left at 3:49. So by the time it was 11 o'clock at night.
Yes.
And with the semis. And so anyhow, all right. So then we did a little shortcut. Then we got into Maryland and Virginia.
And then this is part 1 of Adeline. So the cat.
Because Adeline was with you and Aslan.
So we stopped, like the cat stopped crying.
Oh, she spilled her water
after a while.
Yes.
But when we're in Pennsylvania, all of a sudden we hear meow, meow, meow. And I'm like, why is Addie crying? So I reached back, she spilled her water. And she was wet. So then I had to call Mom, and then you, and then...
We pulled off in some random town in the middle of Maryland.
Cleaned Adeline off. It was still Pennsylvania.
It was like 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, where are we going to stop? Like, nothing's open at 1:30 in the morning.
No, it was like midnight, because then I called you and I said, hey, Aslan and I need to switch, because Aslan was getting
She was getting tired. So then we had to find like a little rest.
We stopped again at Maryland. Yes. And then, so now part 2 of Adeline. So now we're in Virginia. So now we crossed into Virginia. Now it's like 3 a.m. We're like 30 minutes away from where you guys are going to be.
Yes.
And Aslan and I were talking. I think you called.
I was on the phone with Aslan. Yes.
And I hear this jingle, jingle, jingle in the back. And I'm like, oh, Addie's been playing with the zipper. All of a sudden, I see this little gray thing out of the corner of my eye. I look down, Adeline escaped.
She escaped from her travel pack and play. After 11 and a half hours, she figured out how to unzip the travel pack and play.
It was Shawshank Redemption at like 3 a.m. as we're crossing into Virginia. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm driving, and I'm like delirious at this point. And I'm like, I can't stop. We're so close. So
we did it.
So you're on the phone with Adeline. I'm like, I have to call Mom because she's going to see Adeline walk by. Because Aslan was holding her, but then Addie's like, Meow! And then Addie like jumped out of her. She wanted to explore.
She was excited about being in the car. Not in the pack and play.
Yeah. So then I called my mom, and she's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, we'll just figure it out when we get to your guys' place. And Mom goes, oh my gosh, I see her. And she got all the way back. And I look in the rearview mirror.
There she is.
There she is. And she's happy. Like, she's fine. She's content. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Because she's not in the pack and play. She's got freedom. Yes.
Correct. And then somehow she comes back up front again. And it is raining and drizzling. So we have the wipers going. And then she wants to actually go up on the dashboard.
Wow.
And now she's just watching the wipers. But then we brake because there's a red light. And then she almost fell over. But then I think Aslan was like holding her. But yeah, she was living her best little kitty life. So then we get to your guys' place, and then
and we got in at 3:40. So it literally almost took us 12 hours.
Yeah, it took 12 hours. That was too long. So Yeah, this past week I've really been trying to like
catch up on your sleep.
Thankfully, I had the next day off, but that still wasn't enough because
So from landing in Detroit at 2:33 in the morning on a Friday morning,
oh my gosh,
to being in the DMV area at 3:40 a.m. on a Monday, that was a lot of late nights for you.
Yeah, and normally I'm a night person, right? But I'll be honest.
Even that was asking a lot from you.
I don't know. Like, so much was asked of me that weekend. Like, I have lots of thoughts and opinions on that weekend. I have discovered a lot about myself, about my sisters, about my parents, and about our family friends, and our cats, too.
Yes, and then, of course, we get to our place, and Mom and I have decided to live on the 4th floor.
Oh my gosh.
Of the apartment complex that we're moving into.
I was so tired. I literally walk in.
And there's no elevator. By the way, there's no elevator.
I found
you got to walk up the 60 steps to get to the 4th floor.
I will lose weight. This is great.
That's the workout right there. Going from the first floor.
We literally had a glow up. So I literally find the closest room and then I just collapse on the floor. And then for the next, I think 4 or 5 hours, I just sleep. But the next thing you know, sun is streaming through. I'm like, oh, yeah. Right.
So you went to bed at 5 a.m.
I look at my phone and it says, navigation from, 4 hours ago. I'm like, oh, yeah, right. Okay. Then I'm like, hey, Mom, can you take me to Salo's house? Because I left my car there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I drove from her place to my place. And then
did it.
I remember I took a shower and I looked at the clock. I'm like, well, time to go to my appointments. And it was just go, go, go. And then I went back over to your guys' place. I helped move some of the stuff out of the truck.
Yes.
And then I did something else that day too. But yeah, this whole past week, I don't know what day it is. I don't even know what time it is. Someone's like, Jordan, you need to go to lunch. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess it is lunchtime. I come home and I immediately I eat dinner and then I go to bed.
I drove Aslan home.
Yeah.
I think it was 4 in the morning.
Yeah, she didn't.
So she didn't want to spend the night. So she's like,
I was like, I'm too tired. It's dangerous.
She lives 15 minutes away from our new place.
Yeah.
So just she and I were driving 4 a.m. Again, you know what? Not a lot of cars on the road. She was kind of telling me.
That's really nice.
And it was really quiet. And she and I were kind of sitting in silence for a while, truthfully. And that's fine. At 4 a.m., she was tired. She was trying to get to sleep.
I would try to talk to her to keep her awake.
To stay away when she's driving.
She kept fighting it. There was one point I think she took a nap. I tried to, but I'll admit, I was too. I think I was just way too excited.
The adrenaline's pumping. When you're moving, of course, the adrenaline's pumping.
Music's going.
You got the music blaring, the cold air. Mountain Dew. I had a lot of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, make sure the cat doesn't escape.
And I got to tell you though, when Aslan, right before we pulled in at 4:15 now a.m., I said to her, you know what? Well, it's funny, Aslan. I said about 2 hours, people are going to get up and they're going to go to work. And and to them, it was like a normal Monday.
Yeah.
But for us, it was not a normal Monday because we had just moved from Michigan.
I think too, maybe it was a coincidence or not, but for Christmas, you and I left at 3
Oh yeah, we did that on the road pie. We left at 3:30. And
then we pulled in at
3:49. Yeah, interesting.
Full circle moment.
There you go. Very good.
7 months apart, but yeah, it was fun. Well, how do you feel?
I mean, we're here. Yes, I'm very excited to be here again after 28 straight years of living in Michigan. Nothing against Michigan, but it was. I think I had made peace with Michigan. I've done.
You were definitely ready to.
I was right. I was born and raised in Michigan. I just felt again, 49er states. And I went to college in Oklahoma. I went to college in Missouri, and again, Mom and I lived in Texas for a while. So, but I feel like now again, this is a new area for me to live in. We've vacationed here before. And
yeah, it is
with
cool.
all of our our 3 daughters are here, and the son-in-law and the grandson. I just feel like, of course, this is where we're supposed to be. So.
It is cool that Selah, they're 15, 20 minutes away, and then you guys are 30 minutes.
Yes,
right?
we're all within about 30, 35 minutes of each other. I really like that. And you know that TV show, Everybody Loves Raymond?
Oh, yes. I'm familiar with
that. And nothing against the TV show, but it's not going to be like that with us. No. I'm not trying to move right across the street from you. I'm not going to be over at your place every single day.
Correct.
I'm trying to give you your space, trying to give, of course, Selah and Aslan their space. And so, but we're excited. I know Mom and I are very excited. We both found a place to live. We both have jobs that we're excited about. And I already started my job a few days, my first job. Yes. Congrats. Of multiple jobs. So,
I'm living on my own now.
You're living on your own again, adulting.
I love it. I have lots of thoughts and opinions, and it's great.
Sure. And I know, you had to look at different places here in the area, and you found this nice place. So, That's kind of the play-by-play of moving part
Yeah,
two.
woohoo!
It was an adventure to get us here, but we are here.
Quite the adventure.
And we feel like we've got some good ideas.
If I were to do it again, I would do numerous things differently.
Tell us one numerous thing that you would do differently.
I'd probably hire like actual like legit movers,
Professional movers,
and then I would have flown out on the Friday morning
instead of Thursday night.
Yeah.
Right.
It was kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I felt like I was a little pop star. I'm like first class. I'm on the road. I'm flying here. There. I'm like, is this
Well, I got
how
that
Taylor
idea.
Swift feels?
I got that idea. It was about a month ago. I'm like, you know what? If Jordan and Asner are flying out and taking time off of work, I told Mom.
Heck yeah,
we were in the car. I'm like, you know what? Let's get them a first class airline ticket.
And you know what? I would do first class all over again.
I'm excited. I might do first. Hey, you know what?
You get a lot of like leg room.
Yes.
And then
I'm a tall person. I would enjoy that.
They cramp everyone in the back.
Nothing against Coach, but it would be nice to
this economy girl got that first class upgrade, and it was nice.
Yes.
And you get a lot of snacks, and it was good. So yeah.
We know some people probably are like, it's an older school probably mentality or generation thinking, where some people just like, they don't ever admit that, hey, I was born in this town and I'm probably going to live in the same town for 50 years or 60 years.
I wish I could be that person, but like I love moving, and maybe it's like the way I was raised, where like I switch schools and churches and jobs and mergers and stuff. To me, that's normal. So maybe I should go into the business world now that I think about it. But anyway, like moving like every like 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, like that's normal to me. Like being in the same place for 50, 60 years, to me that actually sounds unusual. Now, maybe when I'm in my 30s or 40s, things will change. If I get married and have kids and stuff. But
put down roots, yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I'm not supposed to settle just yet. So I have a very nomadic lifestyle. Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of funny because even at work, like, the C that they sort of signed me, like, they keep moving me around. So I don't know.
Variety pack again.
Yes, I'm living on that variety pack, and yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like the sky's the limit right now.
Good for you. Well, we've enjoyed sharing this pod with our listening audience. Thank you for listening to our play-by-play with the airlines and then the U-Haul truck, and then moving from Michigan to the DMV. That was quite the adventure just over a week ago.
Yes, it was.
And so again, we've got some good ideas coming up for. We're still on season 3, I believe.
Yes, we are.
So we've got some good, bright ideas coming from the East Coast. So again, thanks for joining us,
Woo-hoo!
and we hope we gave you some laughs on our story of moving part 2.
All right, I'm gonna go get some sleep now.
Go, Jordan, go. Rock and roll.